Hey everyone, this is a bit of a different video I'm making right now. I just want to say that this is a unscripted video. I am just speaking my thoughts and how I feel about the subject I'm about to talk about, and yeah, this is just a video about that. It's unscripted and all that stuff. Yeah, this is just a topic on the video and how I kind of feel about it. I've been thinking about making this video for a while. Actually, no, wait, I already made this video. Yeah, I already made the video. Um, but I just didn't like that one, so I'm just trying to do a new one right now and see how I like this one. Maybe I'll upload this one. So I'm addressing the subject on MoYu 3x3's. Now, I think the whole entire community has came to the general consensus that MoYu 3x3's should stop being made, or slow down, or just not be made at all. Basically the general consensus is saying that MoYu makes too many 3x3's. No one really addressed this issue publicly as a huge like fan base or like a big YouTuber. No big YouTuber has ever said MoYu makes too many 3x3's. Actually, I think maybe Crazy Bad did. I don't know, but no one that I not that I could think of. It wasn't a big deal back then, I guess, because not many 3x3's were made. But now it's kind of came into the light that MoYu makes too many 3x3's. In JR Cuber's Way Long GTS review, he did mention this. I feel like 30 seconds of it was mentioned. 30 seconds of it, or even a minute of it, was saying that the MoYu's making too many 3x3's and they should stop. Like, it was basically him ranting about it. I'm not hating on JR Cuber in any way. I'm just saying that's his opinion, and I can understand his opinion. While I may not agree with it, there are some aspects that I can agree with. That he is a big channel, and people are going to ask him to do a review on it, and he feels like he's wasting his time making that review, and he could make it on other things. He could make the video on modding, or he even said he was getting more into modding. He's just tired of speed cubing because there's too many of these speed cubes. He doesn't want to make all these reviews on every single one of these. He's getting tired of them because he feels they're all the same, and I can understand that. I just don't agree with the fact that he said that MoYu should stop making 3x3's or even slow down, or yeah, those two in general. I just don't agree with that in general because I just don't agree with that. I'll discuss that. LT Cuber also made a video about this. I watched it too as well, just to see what his opinion was. He said that he did not. He basically everything JR Cuber said. Said basically he didn't want MoYu making 3x3's anymore. He needs to stop. Basically saying you need to stop making 3x3's. Focus on bigger cubes. Yada yada yada. I did watch the video. I think around twice just to make sure I had all the information of him and kind of his opinion on kind of what he was thinking about. It was basically the same as JR Cuber's, just a little bit longer. That's how I felt about it. So this is my opinion. Also, this video is an opinion. It is not anything that you should be offended by. I guess I don't know how you'd be offended by it, but this is just a video of my opinion. So yeah, but you can disagree with it. Of course, it's an opinion, so you can disagree with it. You can agree with it. You can do whatever you want with an opinion. This is just my opinion on this subject matter because I feel like too many people have really came to this general consensus, and I really want to let people know of my opinion because I feel like people haven't seen it the way I've seen it. So I guess here we go. So if I want to start with saying that back then, there were very little cubes. There were very little viable competitive 3x3's. I would say that back then, so let's say like 2010, I'll say around there. The best two cubes were a grand total of two cubes. It was the Diane Guhong version 2 and these Diane Zanchi. That's it. Those were the two best cubes. You can even look on YouTube. Half the videos at that time were Guhong versus Zanchi. If you want a lot of views, you did that. Honestly, if you want a lot of views, you did Guhong versus Zanchi because everyone wanted to know which one's the best. But obviously, they're both pretty even in my opinion. So there's no best cube back then. There still wasn't. So it was still Guhong versus Zanchi. You could tell that everyone made a video about that because everyone wanted to know. They both are pretty good cubes. I'm not saying they're bad cubes. They're really good. They're still, even today, they're still pretty good cubes. Yeah, I say a lot. Sorry. They make a lot of cubes. I feel like I'm trying to think how to word this. Sorry, this is just an informal video as well. So I'm trying to think how to say it. So they made a lot of cubes as well, or they didn't make a lot of cubes. Like Diane was the dominant brand. Since Diane being the dominant brand, no one really could compete with them at that time. And there was only 2 cubes, like I said before, the Zhanchi and the Guhong version 2. Now, those are a grand total of 2 competitive viable speed cubes. Now, if you think about it, there's only 2 of them. You only had 2 options if you really think about it. Like, I know there's some people the rare people that use like Lingyans and F2s and stuff like that. Lingyan wasn't a bad cube still. I'm not gonna say it was. It's still a pretty good cube for its time, and it's still pretty good. So that's the general, I guess, consensus of what I'm trying to say. There are only 2 viable competitive speed cubes. Now we have a lot of cubes. I can't even name them all. There's so many of them. There's so many 3x3s now. There's just so many. There's like so many 3x3s now that you now have a choice. Now, if you think about it, this is a choice that is not forced upon you. This is. I think we should really. I think we should even promote MoYu saying, "Oh, MoYu making more 3x3s." I don't think there's anything wrong with MoYu making 3x3s. In fact, making more 3x3s, I highly encourage. Because 1, I don't have to buy it, and they have to use their resources to make the cube. You are not forced to buy it as a consumer. You do not have to buy the cube. Yeah, sure, you may think they're all the same, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's just another 3x3 they came out with. It's just another option. And what I'm trying to get in this video is you have now the whole point of this video, I guess, is to tell you guys that you guys shouldn't be hating on MoYu by giving you a choice. I'm not even saying even MoYu anymore. I could expand this out to every cube company. But you should not hate MoYu for making more product. Now, you may think all of them are the same, but some people may not think they're the same. Now, they may not be the same, or you may think they're the same, but most of the cubes I found are pretty different. I don't think they're all the exact same cube. They may look exactly the same because all the mechs are they're all pretty similar. They're all shaking around with. But every cube these days now are MoYu, a lot of MoYu cubes have been made. And I feel like MoYu is getting a lot of hate, which is really weird for a company that makes a lot of 3x3s and providing more diversity within the community. I don't know why the community is hating on someone that provides so much diversity. They're basically providing you with a choice. I think that's what I was trying to say in the video. I don't know. This is a very informal video, guys. Sorry, but I just want to put this out there. I feel like people are hating on that they have a choice, and that's what really irks me. That this company is providing you with a choice, a choice on which cube you can use. Because back then was, like I said, now I'm going back to the Guhong versus Zhanchi. You only had those 2 cubes to choose from that were competitively viable. MoYu is making so many competitive viable speed cubes that you can choose from. Now, some people may think they're the same, like I've said before, but I don't think personally they're all the same. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. The Along V1, V2, Kongsi Yuying, Meiying, Alfu. I mean, those are that's 7x7, but generally, 3x3 wise, if I want to isolate just the 3x3, I feel like it's fine making more diversity on it because there's so many certain type of styles of how cubers turn, how cubers are, how picky they are. And they may find a certain cube that fits just their perfect niche. And that's what's perfect about a cube. Now, this is a GTS. This cube really fits my niche. That's what it is. It fits my turning style. It fits my turning speed. It fits a lot of things. I think it's a really good cube. In fact, I think it's the best cube on the market at the moment. That's just me, though. A lot of people will disagree with that, but that's just an opinion. You have to also remember that these reviews that people post out are just opinions as well. So you have to make sure you take it in a grain of salt on how you think those cubes are. You have to really make sure how that their review is. It's really hard to not make a review biased because it's an opinion, but there are certain things you can tell about the cube that if it's good or it's not, or or if it feels like this, then maybe you could try it out. But yeah, you have a choice, and I feel like it's really getting crapped on or shitted on. I feel like why? I don't understand. MoYu making 3x3s isn't a bad thing. You don't have to buy them. You don't have to buy them. They give you a choice. You get a plethora of choice of cubes. I think Cubic said this when it was used. Now that we have a plethora of choice of cubes, we can now choose which one could be our main, which one could be good. Now there's so many good speed cubes on the market right now that we could choose from which one being the best. Or you could choose. There's no best cube anymore if you think about it. Have you heard of the best speed cube anymore? A lot of people say, yeah, this is the Waylong GTS best speed cube on the market. I think it is, personally. But that doesn't mean it is. That overall, it's not. Like, overall consensus for the community, they came to Diane Zanchi and Guhong. The overall consensus now is that it's very unclear. It's a gray line. You can't really say it. That means there's so many speed cubes you can choose from. You could choose so many speed cubes. That's all I can stop at. You could choose so many speed cubes. There's so much choice. There's so much diversity. You actually have a choice. So what I'm trying to get in this entire video, I guess, trying to make you understand, is that you now have a choice. You have a choice on which speed cube you can choose. Yes, you could choose the F2, but then you would be a little bit subpar and behind on other cubes. Now, I know most of it is technique and, actually solving and practicing and things like that, but sometimes it just comes down to if you don't like the cube, you're just not going to do super well. If you don't like it or even remotely like it, you're not going to do super well. Like, I don't like the Lun Hoi, so I'm not going to do super well with it. That's just an example. Lun Hoi is okay, but that's just an example. If I don't like the Lun Hoi, I may have a good technique, but I will get times that are worse than mine. Reasonably. I'll probably get like 16-second averages because I just can't use the cube very well. That's just how it is. So what I'm trying to get in this video is that you have a choice. You have a choice between Zanchi or F2, whatever, to whatever cube's out today. And I feel like MoYu has really stockpiled this huge pot of cubes. Like, they have a crap ton of cubes that they have created, and now you can just choose one as your main, or you can just choose one and deal with it. That's it. I don't see a problem in having a bunch of diversity. I feel like the community is hating MoYu for saying, oh, you make too many 3x3's. What they're basically saying is, oh, I hate diversity within 3x3's. No, I mean, sure, you may think all the cubes are the same, but the cubes technically aren't all the same. They did change something, and if they didn't, well, then MoYu, you are a bad person. They innovate, and they keep trying to pump out these different type of versions to fit every single cuber's needs. They're trying to fit these style of cubers and all these people's needs and things like that. It's a little hard to explain in all in my head that I'm trying to say, so it is a little informal video, as I said before. Yeah, overall, they're trying to give you a choice. MoYu in general is giving us a choice, and I feel like we should really appreciate that. I feel like the community in general has been spoiled with that we have so many 3x3's that they've forgotten the fact that back then we didn't have a choice. We only had a grand total of 2 cubes we used. We really didn't have that much of an option, and I feel like the community now is very spoiled by the fact that we have so many 3x3's. I'm not even talking about MoYu anymore. I'm talking about every single company. I feel like everyone is just spoiled on the fact that there are just so many 3x3's you can choose from. Like, there's so many people that are using the Yusha 3x3, or they're still using the Goguan Yuxiao, or the Mei Ying. There's so many mains everywhere. MoYu has provided all of these. MoYu, or not even just MoYu, every company has provided these options in GANs. I forgot to mention GANs, but they're GANs. I personally don't like them, but they work for some people. But yeah, they provide these options. And I feel like we should really stop hating on companies making innovation and improvements. And you may not think it's improvements, but the designer themselves may have, the designers themselves, like designing the cube, they probably have tried to eliminate the things that they see in their cube that are flaws. And I understand that some people may think they're the same because externally they may look exactly the same, or things like that. They may look, oh, this corner looks exactly the same as this, but maybe it's so subtle you can't even tell. Maybe it's like a millimeter back, or not even that. That's a little extreme, actually, even for cubing. Maybe they changed like a little bit of things to make it a little better. Maybe some of it's a little gimmicky, but that's what companies will do. You forget. I feel like some people forget that MoYu is a business and they have to make money. Like, a goal of a business throughout everything is not to make your customers happy and all that stuff. Yes, that's part of it. You have to get a customer base, things like that. You have to get a market. You got to get people to know your name. You got to get the branding out there. Yes, that's all of it. But overall, at the end of the day, a business is there to make money. They need to live. They need to make money. So they need to. That's what the company does. They keep innovating, and a company that keeps innovating is something that we should really appreciate, because now, as I've said back before, we have the diversity to do. We have all these cubes and the diversity that we can choose from. All these cubes we can now just choose from, and I feel like we really don't appreciate that as a community as a whole. So yeah, if I had to compare this to something, I would say I'm going to use some Walmart analogy. So if I went to Walmart in the cereal aisle, they have a ton of diversity. So they have a ton of cereals, right? But let's say you walk into Walmart and there's now only a variety of 2 cereals. Let's say this is 2010 Walmart. Let's say 2010 Walmart, which is now the cubing community. If we go into Walmart right now, and we go into Walmart right now, there's going to be a ton of cereals. But if we go to 2010 Walmart, let's represent that in the cubing community in 2010, you'll only see 2 cereals in the aisle. You'll see Frosted Flakes and Cheerios. Those are my 2 favorite, and I can't pick from each one which ones are better. That's why I picked them. And yeah, Frosted Flakes and Cheerios are pretty good. Cheerios is pretty neutral. That's why I like it. And Frosted Flakes has a little sweetness. But okay, that's not the point. I get a little sidetracked. But the 2 cereals. There are only 2 cereals there. If you don't like Frosted Flakes or Cheerios, tough luck. It's the same thing for the Diane Zanchi and the Guhong. If you didn't like either of them, tough luck. You had to make it good somehow. It's like I said with the Walmart analogy, Frosted Flakes and Cheerios. If you only had those 2 options, and if you don't like either of them, then that sucks. It sucks for you, man. You have to deal with it somehow, right? That's why you go to another store or something like that. But now Walmart today, let's say that's 2016 cubing, or 2016 community. You walk in and there's a ton of cereal. You can choose from plenty of other varieties of food. That's basically what MoYu's doing. MoYu is like the Walmart of cubing. Now, I know Walmart has really creepy people, and I'm not talking about their workers. I know they're really weird people, and we make fun of Walmart workers and the smiles and the logos and all that. I don't know. I make fun of Walmart, too. It's Walmart. It's Wally World. It's Wally World, basically. So, but I'm talking about mostly the conceptual fact of the companies having that much variety versus MoYu also having the same amount of variety. We should be happy that they have that choice. I'm happy that Walmart has a choice of more than just Frosted Flakes and Cheerios. I'm glad they have Fruit Loops, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, Cuckoo for what the? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. They have a lot of cereal. That's what I'm trying to say, and they have a lot of options, and that's what's so good about the Walmart. They have a lot of options in general. Now I'm not even talking about cereals anymore. They just have a lot of options. MoYu is doing the same exact thing. They're giving the consumer a bunch of options, and they're giving us a choice. I keep going back to this because that's basically the general consensus of what this is. MoYu is giving us a choice, and we should really appreciate that. And maybe not even just MoYu, just every cube company in general. We should really appreciate that they're innovating, and they don't force us to buy it, which is awesome. Some communities are forcing you to buy something. So like when the latest new thing comes out, you need it, or you won't be considered competitively viable. Like the DSi and the 3DS. So this is my 3DS. If you didn't have this when Gen 6 came out, you were not considered competitively VGC viable. You were not considered Smogon. I'm not talking about Smogon. Smogon's unofficial. I'm talking about official Nintendo sponsored. If you didn't have a 3DS when XY came out and you were in VGC, you weren't considered competitively viable. And the only way to go into tournaments and get your championship points, I think that's what's called. The only way to consider this, or only way to consider getting your championship points and be considered viable in VGC, is to have your 3DS. If you didn't have a 3DS and you still stuck with your DSi, you were left behind because you needed XY, like as XY and Oraz had these little notches right here, and they only work for 3DS. These games only work for 3DS. So if you didn't have that, you were stuck there. You couldn't, and if you couldn't afford it, and these cost like $300, I'm pretty sure. So those cost a lot. They're not that much anymore. But I'm saying back then, They cost a lot, and in order to be considered viable, you had to buy one of those. In order to be considered viable, in order to be considered viable at VGC. Now, I'm not saying you're skill-wise. I'm saying hardware now. You have to be considered viable. Now, I'm saying the same thing for cubing. Now, you need a cube in a competition. You need a 3x3. Now, if you don't have a 3x3, or like to do a competition, if you don't have your cubes, you don't have your cubes. I mean, you could borrow people's, but I'm saying in the sense that you need your own anyways to practice. So, they don't force you. WCA doesn't force you to buy your own, or buy Rubik's brands or anything like that. We should be grateful that we actually get a choice on that part. That from the WCA point of view, they give us a choice, which is really nice. They actually give us a choice and not force us to use Rubik's brands. We should be grateful that MoYu is giving us these choices that we have. These are certain things that we should really be grateful that we have, because, like I said before, we didn't have these before. We never had these viability cubes, or these competitively viable cubes, if I want to put it that way. We never had these options, and I feel like now the community, as I said before, is just spoiled with having so many 3x3s that they don't really, they're underappreciative, or they take for granted the amount of cubes they have. I see sometimes in posts saying like, remember when Zhanchi versus Guhong? That was a thing, and now it's like, it's not even there anymore. We have so many cubes that we can choose from. I mean, I could talk about this forever. I just want to point it out there. My general opinion is that we should be grateful that we have a choice on which cubes we should buy. We should really be grateful, and I feel like this video, I want to give my opinion on the subject and matter, because I feel like most of the cubing community has came to the general consensus that MoYu should stop making 3x3s. And I really want to point out there that I think we should promote, well, not even promote like, oh yeah, make more 3x3s. I mean, sure, I could even say go to the fact, even go as far as promote, because we don't lose anything by asking them to make a 3x3 or making a new 3x3. We're not forced to buy it, is what I'm trying to say. So we should really be grateful on the competitively viable cubes they keep coming out with. They're good cubes. I'm not saying they're bad. They're pretty good cubes. Even the Qilong's still pretty good. I got almost the same averages with the Qilong as I did with my Wei Long version 1 that I had with. So it's just, there's so many of these that we should really be grateful that we have actually an option to choose from. And that's really what I want to come down to, is that I'm grateful that we actually have the choice. And I feel like this video would help shed the light on showing my opinion and maybe another side or another way of looking at this subject. And instead of just jumping on the bandwagon, I actually kind of thought about this for a while and seeing if I really want to make this video. So yeah, guys, this is my opinion on MoYu 3x3s and stuff like that. I'll post a link in the description on the channels I talked about too, just because I just like watching them too as well. So, yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.